Okay, this is in relation to your discussion on socialization. I'm going to use the terms that are extant in sociology in general. I've had to edit this work, so if you've read an earlier version of this, please reread the assignment. It's got what I consider to be the standard language for an intro sociology class embedded in the assignment now. Incidentally, this is for my Monday class that meets at 2 o'clock, and for my Tuesday class that meets at 9:30. Okay, it's for both classes. So this applies to both groups of folks, and you're going to need to have this assignment done. I've got the due date posted. I believe I have it due on, let's see, it is due a week from today at midnight, okay, for both classes. All right? So, what this assignment, we talked about what an agent of socialization was in our discussion of socialization. There were family, peers, the education system, mass media, and sometimes your whatever religious tradition. They call it spiritual tradition or whatever here, but those are the agents of socialization. And some people may not have any religious influence from early in their life. That's fine too. And media is an important one. So a social status, forget the business about prestige, is a social position that a person holds. Your status set is all the statuses a person holds at a given time. You're a high school graduate in relation to people who are not. You are a woman in relation to women and men. You are a person of color in relation to white people and other groups of people of color. You are a 19 or 20-year-old in relation to all the other age groups, including the one that you belong to. Those are statuses. There are also statuses, again, it relates us socially in comparison to other groups. It's an important concept, social status, because as we're going to see in subsequent chapters, social status is a way in which some groups are accrued benefits and other groups accrue costs associated with their social statuses. Okay, we'll talk about that. So there are two kinds of social status that you need to be aware of. The one we're going to be dealing with in this assignment is ascribed status. It's a social position a person is born into, or they take involuntarily later in life. Matters about which we have little choice. An achieved status is a social position a person gets due to some ability. You're a high school graduate. You're an employee. You may be a spouse. Okay? An ascribed status is a position a person receives at birth or takes involuntarily. Your gender, your race, whether you have a disability or not, whether you're differentially able, it's called. Let's take a look at some of these in terms of this assignment. Gender, that is whether a person identifies as male, female, or non-binary gendered categories. Race, or they're biological markers, as we can see, but we socially construct meaning around these kind of incidental biological markers, and that That's a concept. That's an ascribed status. In other words, I was born and identified by everybody around me as white. Social class has to do with lower, middle, upper class, okay? Sexuality has to do with whether one is heterosexual, gay or lesbian, or bisexual. It can be a whole range of locations, okay? And ability has to do with whether one is, has a disability or not. And you're to identify how these agents of socialization attach to ascribed status. What messages did you get from your family about your gender? Most of us don't make an assumption about that. Okay? Most of us don't, we don't think about it much because we get the normal modal response. If you're a man, you're told to act like a male or whatever. You're also told women act a certain way, and vice versa. So what you do is you pick 3 of these, and you look at how, you look at the messages you get from these different agents of socialization. This could be your religious tradition here. I'm not convinced that the spiritual group is the necessarily. I'm going to call this religious tradition. Let's change that. Okay. So, and I'll change that in the other site as well. But you're to discuss how, pick 3 of those and talk about how these different agents of socialization impacted your thinking about those statuses which you were born into. Basically, I would begin with your family. All right. So I think that we have enough material to work with now. I'm going to embed this video and the PowerPoint alongside the assignment here. Okay.